I like the music.
And we are back in studio, Christine Bentley and Kate Wheeler with you today, and we have Paulina and Elaine. Now, your mom, Freda, brought you into the business, but one of you wasn't really intending to go into
Coerced
the
us into the business.
So how did that happen? And are you happy now?
I think I was first right after university. The older one, Paulina. I was first kind of coerced into it, and I had graduated, wanted to go into marketing and PR. She says, why don't you try the family business? I said, I don't know if it's for me, and went in there and really found my niche by dressing a lot of people on air, working with stylists, and then I just started to love what I did. So I found my way, and then I tried to influence the retail end of it, trying to create more of a younger styling, try to bring in an atmosphere that was more a mother and daughter could shop. So, I had some, she was a little bit reluctant because she was very set in her ways, the way she wanted things, but I was able to push the boundaries a bit. And then with Elaine joining us, it was great because then the two of us could really put our influence, and I find that it's really an environment where mother and daughter can find something for the both of them would love in our store.
Mm-hmm. So is it hard for you because you're so far ahead, as you were talking about before, when you're buying? So now, we're looking at spring stuff.
Yeah,
we're thinking
done
about
spring now.
You're done spring.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be out on the runways.
Yeah.
But when we go into the stores right now, we're thinking fall, winter.
That's
but you're
right.
already been there, done that, and ahead of the game. So how do you regenerate inspiration to sell what's already passé for you to your clientele?
I'll let you take that one.
Well, actually, Kate, I was going to tell my story of how I studied.
Okay.
Just to retract a little. I was going to mention, actually, how I studied architecture and how I made it into the business because I thought I would do anything but the family business. And so I think it's quite interesting what we do because I think architecture, I've actually heard that many architects do become fashion designers because essentially it's creation, and instead of housing a body, you're wardrobing a body. So there's very similar dynamics there.
I agree. But in terms of bringing back the style, that's a challenge, wouldn't you say? Because we saw the wide look of the pants a couple years ago, and now they're bringing them back. So I was happy that I was done and over with that look. So when we saw it on the spring shows, I was like, oh, here we go again, right? So, but the nice thing about the wide leg pants that they're bringing back, they're not as flooded as they used to be, and they're doing a higher waist, which I know a lot of women love that look, the higher waistband. It's actually
quite
quite
flattering, and you don't
really
have that
flattering.
muffin top going on. And
I was going to say, I think fashion always recycles itself.
Always, I agree.
But it comes back, as Paulina mentioned, in a way that it's slightly modified and tweaked for the generation. So, like as Paulina mentioned, the wide leg pant is coming back, yes, but they're introducing it at a higher point on the midsection and then bringing it with the crop top. So you get that really sexy part of a woman's body showing through.
Yeah.
So while we're at it, why don't we run through some of the trends that we're expecting for fall? Because you guys know all this, but I haven't been shopping yet, so I want to know what I should be looking for.
Do you want to take that, or I mean,
plaid was big. We heard plaid was
plaid's
big.
huge.
Yes, prints are big in general. Anything from very ladylike prints. Floral is really coming strong,
huge.
and we're seeing it a lot for spring 2015. I'd say chunky knit sweaters.
Yeah, a lot of leather accents we're seeing, either leather accents in the pants and the jacket, something with a little bit of leather. So you're not necessarily wearing all leather, but, accents of leather has been very, very popular for fall.
How chunky in terms of sweaters?
Oh, they're pretty chunky. Really loose, chunky cardigans.
Like, are they thick, you mean?
Thick cardigans, a little bit more boxy with graphic tees underneath. Really great chunky pieces of jewelry, and a lot of distressed jeans. Distressed are really making a huge comeback for fall and really going right into spring 2015 as well.
What about fur? I mean,
we're seeing a lot of
fur.
fur.
Is very big.
But full fur. Full fur is very big. We're seeing a lot of full fur vests. Actually, that's been very popular in our store this season. Is not the whole fur, but the full fur vest. I'd say in colors, wouldn't you say? In a lot of colors.
A lot of cobalt blues, royal mustard is a big color again, and those pair back really
Does anybody
nicely.
really look good in mustard? Really?
We had a little tiff over mustard, and
Who's
I
on my
won.
anti-mustard side?
I do not like mustard.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic if you pair it correctly.
Okay, so what do you pair it with?
Well, if you pair it with teal blue, if you pair it with cobalt blue, if you pair it with
Chocolate, looks
aubergine,
awesome.
chocolate, cranberry red, like it's quite an interesting color, and it shows very, very well on camera. So I really keep that in mind. When I am doing the buying, a lot of times Paulina and I will say, oh, Tracy would look great in this.
Well, that's interesting because, I mean, because we were always taught, but we were back in, the beginning of television.
Yeah.
It used to be no black, white, spots, or stripes.
It's
because
still
the
that.
cameras, they would strobe.
Yes.
So you're still on no black, white, spots, or stripes.
They're still doing a lot of white, though. I find a lot of white and cream. They're
introducing
introducing it,
yeah,
I
that's
find
been,
now.
But
That's
green, you couldn't wear green because if you were
The
exposed
green
to the
screen.
weather, because of the green screen behind you,
Right.
you'd kind of disappear. Do you remember when you
Yeah.
would be wearing
Yeah.
a jacket
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you'd look down and you'd
It's
have
just your
the
face.
city of Toronto is now emblazoned across my chest. I've disappeared.
The thing with mustard, I think that I sort of agree with Kate, is it may look good on camera, but whose skin does it look good
It looks
next
great
to?
on blondes.
It looks, yes, I was going to say, if you're fair skin, darker skin actually looks
Dark
quite good
skin
in
looks
that.
great,
If
yeah.
you're blonde, I think it looks really good. I agree, it's a more challenging color. But
So do you have a color that both of you can't stand where you go, we're not ever buying this?
Gosh. For some reason, we
Yellow.
have a hard time with yellow and red.
Yellow.
Red, I don't know why.
I think yellow is a very, very striking, striking color on dark-skinned women.
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
not sure, yellow
it
does
doesn't
nothing
translate
for me.
very well. And I think, as Paulina mentioned, the great aspect about us working in the store one-on-one with our clients is that we get to see what works, we get to see what sells, we get to see the feedback. So I think that really helps.
What about coats? You were saying something about car coats?
Car coats, yes, very, very much in style. As we mentioned, the way we're seeing chunky cable knit sweaters, we're actually seeing more unstructured blazers and car coats, and in very vibrant colors, actually, Christine.
Really?
So, yes, like a very hot pink. What's interesting is the more conservative woman would be more likely to wear a flashy color in a coat like that. And that's where she would bring in the elements of color in her wardrobe, as well as a colored pump or a shoe, which would play off of the coat. So that's where we're seeing women are more likely to introduce color.
That's interesting because all my coats are black and brown and navy and dull colors, and I'll bring in a scarf, but I don't know if I'd buy a hot pink
Coat?
winter coat,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But the other thing too that you mentioned was menswear inspired suits.
Yes, yes. We are seeing a lot of, not as much, but the double-breasted look, which is very menswear inspired. A few blazers that appear sort of structured but unstructured. Structured in the sense that they will tailor to a woman's body, so you know it's meant for a woman. But unstructured in the sense that they're really playing off of that look of the menswear inspiration.
So Annie Hall-ish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of look.
Well, when you said, everything what goes around comes around, again, when it comes to fashion.
Yes.
I was always told that if you wore it the first time round, you don't want to wear it the second time round. So I honestly thought that the sort of polyester style blouse with the floppy bows that we all wore under V-neck sweaters would never come back. And then they came back.
Never say never.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, they're back. And they looked awful the first time
I just gave
round.
away all my fringe purses. I
Now
gave
they're
them
back.
all away and they're back. And I thought, gosh, I should have kept that one I bought in Greece.
So how do you...
Yeah, my
how can
fringe
you-
boots as well. I just threw them out. I shouldn't have thrown those out.
Yeah, no, I saw, actually, there was a pair of fringe
Fringe is huge
Fringe
for fall.
is
Huge.
coming back with a
fringe
vengeance.
boots on the floor of Winners that my daughter picked up and, coveting these boots, and then found out they were $1,300 at Winners. Well, they went back on the shelf very quickly. I can't imagine what they would have been. Christian Dior boots right off the top, but they were great with fringes everywhere.
With
But
fringes,
Yeah,
really?
fringes are back.
Oh.
It's amazing. I think every woman should have a humongous closet that she can put away those items because they're going to come back.
Well, but how can you take something?
Yes.
Because as you said, there's always a little twist. It's always updated somehow. Are there some things that you just can never wear again because they've been changed, or can you do some tweaking?
I hope the big shoulder pads never come back.
I was gonna say there are certain fads
Why?
that
Oh,
I
hated
love
that.
those.
there are
I
certain
love
things you
those.
should just take them out of your closet and give them to Goodwill or a good cause, because they really should not be worn in public. There's so many times Paulina and I are driving past King and Bay or Bay and Bloor, and I just want to pluck women off the street and just give them a makeover and then put them back on the street.
So, what, would you wind the window down and yell, "What are you wearing?" or put on some pants? I think some. Like,
Well,
what
we were on that show. I'm trying a blank on the name, actually. The one where they would come in and do makeovers on people.
Oh my goodness, yeah, what not to wear.
It had a what not to wear feel, but
Yeah.
so essentially that's what they would do. They would take people off the street and say, "Would you like a makeover?"
Yeah.
I think chuck the 80s jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
what
really.
describes an '80s jacket?
They're really huge shoulder pads.
Oh.
Huge shoulder pads.
I don't think that's hopefully ever going to come back.
Yeah.
So let's just put
Yeah,
away
let's
those
just put
fads.
those away.
So let me ask you: are skinny jeans and leggings here forever?
Do you know
Because
what?
everybody,
I think they're
you know,
here to stay.
because honestly, like after the second and third year, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
it won't be next year. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
I think we're going to get away from the colored jeans. And I know at one point we were seeing every range of color imaginable in skinny jeans. We're seeing it in purples and pinks. And, I mean, going back to what we were saying earlier about a mistake we made, that was probably a big mistake.
Yes.
You know, probably buying so much colored jeans because it was just a trend at the time.
Yes, I agree.
So we're seeing the jeans, but we're not seeing that colored jean look anymore. We're seeing more pattern jeans, a
And
lot of
ripped.
novelties,
And
a lot
ripped.
of ripped. Yeah.
I was
But
saying
I
actually,
would be too old. I would hope I would be too old
No,
for ripped.
you know what?
No,
Not at all.
please tell me
Not
I'm
at
too
all.
old.
There's a lot of
It's
nice
how they're
ripped.
doing
It's how they're doing
the
it.
distress.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
It's
absolutely.
the seniors' rip, is it?
That's the seniors that are
aging
saying, "I can't
yourself."
believe you're spending $190 on a pair of jeans with holes in them." Martha. That's what That's what goes.
Because
on.
there's the really distressed that's really showing the leg, and then there's really subtle ones. They're really well made. Like we have pairs that actually have linings and colors under them with a little bit of rhinestone, which are really cute.
Our Paulina owns a fantastic
Yeah.
pair, and I thought, how did she get to those before me? But they've actually got sequins underneath the rip. So I thought that was really trendy.
So
The
what?
sequence is big,
Yeah.
so bringing in the boyfriend style jean with the distressed look and then having the sequence come through is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, for someone on a budget who can only maybe afford to get a few pieces for the fall and winter, wants to look current, but cannot afford to do the whole range, what would be, let's say, the 3 top things that you would tell them?
I think always having your basics in your closet is essential. So having a good black pant, a good black skirt, and a great black dress. And then what you do is you just build on top of that. So you grab, for this fall season, you grab one chunky knit cardigan, for sure. You grab a really great piece of jewelry that you can intermix with dresses and jackets. There's a lot of pieces out there that you don't have to spend a fortune, but you want to go a little bit more expensive because they're going to last. So if you do choose something that's very versatile that you can mix with what you have in your own closet, I wouldn't just chuck your entire closet. I would add elements that will really update your look, which would, like the plaid. I would grab one great plaid shirt, you know, mixing it with your black jacket or black pants. So there's a lot of ways you can mix and match them. And they're showing the car coat is probably #1 as well for fall. The car coat is this great boxy colored coat.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it from really great prices to really high end. So that's really going in the whole gamut of price range as well.
And of those 3, which one do you think is a keeper for next season, or are they all just fads?
I'd say the chunky knit.
The chunky knit?
For sure the chunky knit,
Buy
yeah.
the more expensive chunky knit, buy
Yes.
the cheaper car coat and the cheaper
Exactly.
jewelry.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yes, you can actually stretch your budget by buying some key essential elements and investment pieces and spending more money on those, and then just as Paulina mentioned, getting a blouse or a shirt, a white cotton shirt, some basic essentials or a chunky necklace at a lesser price point. So you can get away with extending your budget that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. So I'm looking for a pencil skirt, a chunky knit, leather details, a loose car coat, brightly colored, and a menswear inspired suit.
That's right.
And then I'll
you're
be
set.
covered.
And then you're set.
And one more thing
Uh-oh.
actually would be a pencil skirt and a really nice length that we're seeing